Alright, so we got stair construction. What was the last section we did? You guys even remember? Interior finishes. Where we had everything from ceiling grid to trim the windows, all that. So now we're going to start on stairs. Stair construction, I don't know, will set you above the rest of the crew when you get out in the job site. A lot of times nowadays, stairs come in the residential side of things, and on the commercial side of things as well. Commercial sides are usually steel, but on the residential side, they're typically pre-ordered. They just call them in. Essentially, they'll call the manufacturer and say, "Hey, we want a set of steps for a two-story house. The elevation we're going to have is going to be 9'6". They'll send it out, and the total run that we have, the area that we have, is X amount. So they'll build the steps according to that. Here we go over it though. So in this section here, I'm going to kind of usually I have the PowerPoint that I use for the book. I like kind of this section here, going through the chapter itself. It kind of covers it pretty good. It's not going to let me move it. Alright. So I can't get a whole entire page on one here. So baluster. Baluster is the very first term when it comes to stairs. So baluster are the individual vertical rails, part of a railing for a set of steps, right? So a baluster. So the railing on your deck, that'd be like the little 2x2 pieces that go around there. You get them kind of a tower attached to a 2x4, basically pre-engineered or pre-manufactured for that, or you can lay it out according to however you want to do it. Now the balustrade is everything, so that's the entire rail assembly, including the handrails. The baluster is everything. Okay, so that's the balustrade. The handrail obviously is the handrail itself, so that's where your hand would go, going up or down the step. Null post is what's cut off there. So null post supports the handrail in a flight of steps, so it's at the bottom or the top. Okay, you can have a null post. Usually, it's typically it's the fancy, bigger sized, kind of ornate piece. Usually, it's kind of like a focal point on a set of steps especially when they order houses. Rake is just a sloping portion of trim, such as like on a gable end roof. You guys were putting the rake rafter on today. All right, so then we have rake trim. So basically, it's just going to fall along the slope of the trim. So when you guys put a stringer in on top of that, I mean, we wouldn't call that baseboard. You're going to put that rake trim on there. All right, so essentially you're putting baseboard going down with that. Shank hole. So a shank hole is drilled for a thicker portion of a wood screw. So a shank hole, a lot of times, if you're putting handrails in, you'll pre-drill it out or you'll bore it out so the head of the lag bolt can anchor in for that. And that last one. Stairwell. So stairwell is the opening in the floor where we're climbing and descending the stairs. So for going up and down steps. So that's the opening in the floor. So that's your stairwell. Well, that thought can't make it up. There we go. So here's two different pictures here. This is the stair carriages. All right. What a lot of times what do we refer to these as? You're laying out the what? The stringer. So the difference between a stringer and a carriage, the carriage typically is what you're laying out in here all the time. All right. So when we take off the thickness of the tread off that, it's actually called dropping the carriage. So we drop the carriage for that. The stringer itself will be right here. So it's a trim that basically caps off or covers the carriage. The stringer can be used more or less to support the the riser and the tread if there's not a carriage used. So, like if you order a set of steps for a job site, typically they're going to come where this is all rabbited out, and those are embedded in mortise down into it. You guys follow me on that? So there's not really blocking a lot of times on a set of steps that are pre-manufactured. And here you can see the stairwell opening here for the stairs to go into. It's kind of laid out like what? What's it look like it's laid out like? If that was standing up vertically, what would it be like? Door or window opening? Yes, absolutely. So the types of stairways we have a straight stairway. Obviously, it's just going to be straight. My stairs in my house, they go straight up, they go straight down. Nothing fancy there. Another one we have is platform. So it's going to have a set of steps going up to a platform, and then from a platform another set of steps from there. Anybody have platform stairs in their house? A couple people. All right. Winding staircase. What is a winding staircase?
Like a spiral.
Not well, it's not. Yes and no. So there's a winding staircase, basically, where it does that changing direction as it goes up. I've used winding staircases in where room is limited. Okay. So if this is your house here, and you're going to put your set of steps in right here. Your set of steps would go down here. You get to this last step, you don't have enough room, really. I mean, there might be 16, 18 inches. Where if you did something like this, draw this right. So essentially, same area, all right? What you're doing here, though, is these last few steps, you're changing the direction that you step. So now you come down the steps, so you turn, and now you're into the open area of the space, okay? One of the very first house I flipped, I had to do a winding staircase like that. Everybody's, oh, this is so nice, this looks so fancy. There was nothing. I had no other choice. The steps that were there were super steep because I only had a short amount of room, so that short distance here, in this same space here, okay, I changed the elevation. If each stair tread was 7 inches, right, I went up 21 inches right here. And I still have all the room to work. Where instead of steps here, 21 inches, you're clear out. Does that make sense to you guys? Follow that, everybody? Stairways constructed between two walls. All right, that'd be a closed staircase. Open staircase would be open to the room. Here you can kind of see some of the different ones, different elevations for it. This is one thing to keep in mind too. This 6'8" minimum. 6'8". What number does that remind you of? A door. Yes. All right. So that is a knocking question though. What's the minimum headroom for a set of stairs? 6'8". How big is a common door in residential? 6'8". All right. So here you can see different elevations there. On a blueprint, it'll show you this. Okay, the steps are going up this direction. All right, up this direction. Why would it need to show you this? Because you can't tell, right? So it's a set of steps, but is it going down this way or is it going up this way? You can't tell. It's on the first floor. Is it going down to the basement or is it going up to the second floor? It's hard to say. So hopefully you can kind of figure it out by that and go from there. Here's all the terminology for a set of steps. When you guys are figuring things out, when we start getting into, I know a lot of you guys have done steps All right, headroom, do we have to worry about that in the shop? No. Essentially, the project I have you guys work on is like a set of steps for a deck. Okay, so that's what we kind of base it on here. These are called rise, run, riser, and the tread. All right, so those four terms right there, you guys should already know and be dealing with them. Nosing, what do we call, down in the shop, what do we call the nosing a lot of times? We're calculating it out. Overhang, the overhang, yeah, how much overhang does it have? All right, so that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the overhang, all right, as the nosing for it. There's stairwell header on that. But if you notice though, where the stairs themselves, they don't go all the way to the top, right? So your total rise, however tall your steps are, they don't go all the way up. And that's how you can tell a lot of homeowners when they build their own steps. Their deck, a lot of times, will have a step that comes out off of the deck that's flush with it, okay? Because they didn't know to subtract one. I remember we always have one less rise than we do, or one less rise than we do tread, or one less tread than we do rise. So if we step up 13 times, we're only going to have 12 treads to step on. The 13th one's going to be up onto the deck. So here they are, the terms there: tread, nosing, stair carriage, stair stringer, stairwell, headroom. I already went over all those with you guys. So we're going to get into determining the rise and the run. How do we do this? Wait, the run, what's that? What is the run? The tread, how far out the tread is. So have we had to calculate that out yet? No. Everything you guys have ever done, all you did was the rise, the total rise. So we get the total rise up to our deck or whatever it might be, and that's all we've ever had to worry about. We never had to worry about the run, where it's going to land at. Is that important, you think? There's some scenarios where you have to, okay, the homeowner's like, my steps have to end right here. This is where my sidewalk's at. This is how I planned it all out. Well, if they planned it out properly, it should work out where the stringer does rest on there. This is a set of interior steps on top of the nosing, right? Like it says here, code holding optional. I just want to point that out to you guys so you see that and be like, wait, we never had to do that in stores. What are we talking about there? All that is just like an ornate trim just to dress it up a little bit. But I've even done steps where we've actually put like a type of smaller crown molding underneath there. So it has like a lot more overhang, but then we put crown molding in there to dress it up even more. Hang with me? Alright, so the two formulas determine the unit run for a set of steps. So the 1718 method, where one rise plus one tread should equal between 17 and 18 inches. So what we mean by that, right? So if we're talking about...
Can I have your attention, please? Teachers, please complete your attendance for yesterday's Flex Day, January 6th. Again, please complete your attendance for yesterday's Flex Day, January 6th. Thank you.
Alright, so here are those two formulas for that. So basically we're taking 1 and 1. So we have the tread here and the riser. So 10 and 7.5 is 17.5. Does that fall between there? Yeah, so that's a good workable set of steps. Over here on the 24-25 method for the sum of two rises, so twice. So 7.5 and 7.5 would be what? 15 and 10, 25. Same thing. That's a good set of workable steps, right? Okay. If you look across the bottom here, International Building Code specifies a maximum rise of 7 3/4. So for years ago, when I first started teaching, we set between 7 and 8 inches is what you always wanted to set